don't think Carla likes sex at all.
Yeah, she does. If we're talking Baldur's Gate, I'm not shying away from it. Yes, she does.
Yes. Okay, yes. It comes down to Karlach. Okay, so who do you throw into the volcano? The sacrifice of the volcano gods.
You have to.
Yes.
Yes. Who are you?
It's Gale.
It's
obviously Gale.
Gale.
I mean, I feel like he's eventually gonna be better.
He's a moot.
He's the magic mullet.
If you take one of the hirelings
Really?
over Gale, dude, I do not like Gale.
Gale is a bit snobbish and annoying, but he's also another interesting character.
Gale is just
I'd kill
Rick
for that voice,
Sanchez as a wizard. That is it.
Baldurs Gate 3. And the most excellent video game. And we wanted to start off. Most excellent. Party on. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to go over and review Baldur's Gate 3. And we're going to start off with Brian, Andrew, and I got shit for this before.
Who am I? Did you forget my name? Are you that old?
I'm not that old, but I wanted to give her an introduction because we get to see the elf ears of Baldur's Gate.
Of Baldur's Gate.
Of Baldur's Gate specifically.
They're
The
especially
trademarked Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate.
$5.99. You can get these online.
Visit our website, baldursgatenerds.com.
Yeah, that's right. But we're going to start off, and I'm going to ask the question of who is your favorite character companion that joins you on the quest? I'm going to start with you, Brian.
Okay, two things. First off, easy and difficult question at the same time because everyone's cool and they suck at the same time in their own way.
True.
Like,
I don't think Carla likes sex at all.
Yeah, she does.
Hold on, we might have to edit that one.
No, I'm not.
Bro beat me to it. Damn.
She sucks in a
She sucks in a much better way.
In a vacuum sort
She
of way.
sucks in a much better way. Is all I'm
I
saying.
don't want to interrupt,
Much better.
but if we're talking Baldur's Gate, I'm not shying away from it. Yes, she does.
Yes.
Everybody,
Yeah,
like I said,
she does.
Okay.
everybody sucks their own special way.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
Yeah.
that way.
Do they suck or do they blow?
Okay.
okay. I want to say either Karlach or Shadowheart. Everybody gives Shadowheart shit because of what she's a Shard worshipper, but like that is the modern day equivalent of saying you're an atheist.
Oh,
But-
well, I'm going to disagree on.
I guess
we're going to get flogged over that
I'm
one.
just saying this.
It's a
Well,
sickness.
no, because that's a completely different cult.
But I'm
okay.
going to get into that. That definitely has.
I'm not really sure there's a direct
So
equivalency
pick one.
to it.
Pick one. You got it. Okay, you're
Let's
stranded on
just
an
go
island.
with
Karlach.
Shadowheart.
Okay,
Fine.
Shadowheart.
You're
Stranded on an island.
It's stranded on an island. Shadowheart.
Fine, I'm going to be stranded with the cleric then. Let's go with that.
Okay. Wow, I cannot fault your logic. That does make sense. Andrew, your favorite character from Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm probably gonna go with Carla.
Oh,
She has the cool, like, to me, she has the coolest design. She's got like more of a multifaceted
She's cheeky.
character.
She's very
Yeah,
cheeky.
she's like-
Let's be real, big axe go smash.
Yeah, and also she's got like out of all the female options, I was like, that's the one I want to romance.
Oh,
Plus-
I see.
Plus, you feel like you're stealing
That's
her
not the
from.
reason.
Plus, you feel like you're stealing her from Shadowheart, because Shadowheart initially kind of hints to you, like in the opening verbiage, that she's into.
Look, all she
Karlach.
says is that she thinks Karlach looks like a woman that could throw her over her shoulder and carry her to safety.
Yeah, that's not something you say when you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to give me some Karlach.
I can't fault you about either.
Jasmine.
I don't know. I mean, I like most of them.
Not Gale.
Poor Gale.
I mean, Gale's okay. I guess maybe Astarion.
Oh.
Because I like it when he bites me.
Oh, we like it when he bites. Everybody likes the bite.
Baldur's Gate is absolutely fangirling their pants off over Astarion.
It's because he's a vampire.
And he's sexually questionable. So I mean,
No, he's not sexually questionable.
He's
It's not a
kinda-
question,
No, but
dog.
he likes
The answer is-
everything.
It's not a question. The answer is yes. The
Yes,
question is
yes.
sex. The answer is yes.
He's a little
That's Astarion.
androgynous.
Yeah, no, and
A little.
hey, I think that's what
Very
gives-
androgynous.
very, and I think that's a really
not.
good part of his character, especially being
Yeah.
a vampire.
Yeah.
And so I
I was gonna wear my vampire fangs for this, but I wouldn't have been able to speak very well.
But I mean, like,
Yeah.
That's why you thought I blah 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 blah. I bought you blah blah blah.
So here's the thing, guys. We're gonna talk about Baldur's Gate, right? We have to cover the issue of spoilers.
No.
Wait.
No.
Rich, what's your favorite?
Oh yeah,
I'm going to make
Rich.
this character
What's your
favorite's
favorite?
not really a spoiler, but we will give you a spoiler alert later.
Yeah, Rich. Who are you being trapped on an island with?
Shadowheart is tough because she is it's like the one girl you meet in life who is a complete psychopath. She may be worshiping the devil, but she's so cute. You're like, okay.
Change the red flags, my man.
And beyond that, she's cute and well spoken in an interesting way. Her story is interesting, and
You know what? You guys
There's
are
a-
a little disrespectful. Because I
let's
see
see,
that
to what?
nobody picked the Githyanki woman, huh? Nobody's picking
Lizelle.
Lizelle, huh?
Well, she is the only
I
one that's
don't-
romanced me so far,
Yeah,
so I
there
feel like
you
I
go.
should pick her,
Yeah,
but...
so she's a little angry all
Dude,
the time.
I
Little
understand her
misunderstood.
situation.
What's
I
the big
understand
deal?
it. That doesn't mean I like her. Just because I
Right.
get that you were in a shitty situation, you're in basically literally the worst situation your people have ever told you
Yes.
is physically possible.
and I like her too. But
with
she is. I do
well,
sacrifice her the most. It
I'll leave that.
happens.
Okay, yeah. I
It's
mean,
a
out of
toss
everybody,
between her and Gale.
well, out of everybody in the party, the fighter is the most expendable for me.
If you're doing the volcano test, which we might do it later. Okay, I'll save the volcano test because I'm going to answer. Okay,
I
yes,
don't
it
know.
comes down to Karlak.
Well, dog, it's like
Karlak
this.
does hit my funny bone.
The only person I'm
She's
not throwing
funny.
in is the cleric. If
Yeah.
we're going to
Yeah, never
volcano
throw the-
test, the only
never throw in
person
the
I'm not
cleric.
throwing in is the cleric.
Why are we talking about this like this is a known test?
Because this is a
I don't
thing.
know.
Okay, so
I guess
volcano
I
test.
assume
This is
it's
a
Volcano
thing.
test. Out of all the characters, who do you throw into the
You have to
volcano
put-
to sacrifice to the volcano
You
gods?
have to
Oh.
do this to appease the volcano and make sure it doesn't
Yeah.
erupt.
Okay, so
Yes.
who's your least favorite?
Yes.
Gale.
Yes, who are you?
It's Gale.
Gale.
It's a
It's
Gale.
obviously
Gale.
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 I have
I mean,
to admit,
But, I mean,
Hold on.
I feel like he's eventually gonna be better.
I don't care.
Hold on. Okay, no. If we're being real for me,
he's a mooch.
he's the magic mullet.
if we're
he's
being
a-
real for me, the character that's going in the volcano is, oh my god, what's her name? Athena. It's the bard you meet in the Druid Grove.
Now we're into spoilers.
Oh.
And again,
yeah.
now we won't go into we go into spoilers here.
This is like the first
we're not
hour
going
of the
beyond
game.
area. We're not going Act 1. That's as far as we're going. So if you want to bow out now, now's the time. But
I feel like
do
we
want
should
to
talk
bring it.
about more before we go
I
into
still
the
think we
First
should have the
off-
warning
first
because I
off-
think they're going to slip out.
First off, Gale is a mooch.
He's
That's
a mooch.
obvious.
But
and
you
that only shows up
have
after
the
a little bit.
option of not giving him anything.
Yeah, you do.
you know what
but
happens
he's
when you do
always
that?
asking you.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He's like
Oh no, he becomes worse.
This stuff happens.
He's literally
Yeah.
like the person who shows up and he's like, "Hey, can I sleep on your couch?" And you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah, sure,
I guess,
bro."
man."
He's
And then
a
he's like,
magic
"Yo,
item addict.
I ate all your
And he
food,
goes
by the
into
way.
a
Yeah,
draw.
exactly. It's like, "Hey, I just went into the fridge and I
It's
ate."
empty again.
There,
Yeah.
Well, no, he's like, there was some pad thai in there, and I just had at it, and I was like, I was saving the pad thai. Yeah, but you know,
It was
it was
good,
sitting
though.
in there for
Even
so
though your name
long.
was on it.
Yeah, your name was on it and everything. He just takes
And
all your
why
shit.
the mullet?
And then he asked you for
I
more.
put him in hats.
I can't you're focusing pretty hard on the mullet.
I can't do
You
magic
like-
in mullets.
Why?
That's like the magic thing. It's party in the front and business in the back.
Yeah.
But I
That's
will
the
give him
problem.
credit as
Business in the front and party in the back.
written
I
as
know
the
words.
character. He is interesting. In fact, all the characters
Who'd
are
you say?
interesting. Gale, everybody, they're all very interesting.
They're all interesting.
That's not the issue.
Interesting.
But
how much
again,
I
okay,
hate
so
him. That's
so
weird.
you said you'd throw in Gale. You'd throw in Gale.
Gale.
Gale's
Yeah.
go. Oh no, I'm throwing in that. Okay, for the main cast, Gale. Yeah, if we're gonna just talk about them, just Gale's
Yeah.
not having any of my items. That's all I'm saying. Is
I've
you
also
can't
just
have
never
any of my
wanted
magic
him
items.
in my party.
Oh,
Well,
Hey, he's
I'm gonna-
he's handy.
I'm gonna tell. That's funny you say that.
He's a buff battery.
No, I didn't.
No,
he's
he's
a
not.
buff battery.
No, so
That's what you
here's
use
the
it
thing.
for?
Yes.
At the beginning of the game, if you know when he
Oh,
the
you're
way
doing the thing.
you know
The way
how
you
when you
get him?
find him,
Yeah.
you pull him through the portal.
Yeah.
If you deny him, it'll sever his hand off,
Mm.
Right.
and he'll die, and he's locked
Yeah.
off for the rest of the game.
Yes.
So
And
he's non-essential.
He's not essential, you know. It's
Everybody's
just,
not essential.
I mean, they're all not. Well,
But
You're
Yeah,
pawns.
it's-
Again,
Everybody's not essential.
yeah, but I mean,
Like-
if
He's my portable buff battery.
yeah,
And there's a lot, especially if you go with speed characters, he can give you the speed buff.
Haste is
Haste,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. And then he can, if you're doing damage and being an assassin type, he can also enchant one of your weapons.
Yeah.
So like I said, I keep him for all these little buffs that he picks up down
But then
the
you
road.
have to deal with him talking
Well,
constantly
yes, but
Well, no, you
know.
also have to deal with him existing in your party.
and taking your
Wow, so you
things.
guys really don't
I
actually
do not like
Gale.
Gale.
I have never had him in my party.
I'm
If
sorry.
if
for
I'm taking a
the Gale
magic
fans.
user, it's gonna be Will.
I don't
I'd
even
rather
like-
take
Yeah,
Will
like,
with
here's the
me.
thing. I don't even
I've
like
had
Will.
everybody else at one point,
Yeah.
except for Gale.
I don't
Yeah.
even like Will, dude. I know Will and I'm not gonna say that. I know Will is not like the most amazing character, but I still like him better than Gale, man.
Yeah,
Like, I will
definitely.
take one of the hirelings
Really?
over Gale, dude. I do not like Gale.
Gale is a bit snobbish and annoying, but he's also another interesting character.
He's
and
interesting.
well voiced.
Yeah, he's interesting.
Gale is just
I'd kill for
Rick
that voice.
Sanchez as a wizard. That is it.
Did you say he's Rick Sanchez?
Yes.
Rick Sanchez.
He's Rick Sanchez
Yeah.
as a wizard. Tell me I'm wrong.
And also called
He
the
does
Blade,
all
which he's
the
not very
exact
good
same
with.
Things.
Yeah.
No, that's Will. Will's the Blade.
Yeah,
of the
Will
Frontier.
is
Yeah.
the Blade.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and he's not very good with it, really.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
fine with it.
his magic is much better
Well,
than...
because he's a
He's
warlock.
Yeah.
But like,
But why did they call him the Blade?
Because
They call him
he's
the
got a blade.
Warlock.
because he
He's
has
got
a
a blade.
rapier and stabs.
Yeah,
things
but
when
he's
they get
not
too
really...
close.
Even if you take the bonding weapon, he's still much better with his magic than
You
he
ever see a
ever...
high-level Hexblade Warlock?
Yeah. Have you ever tried to take all his witch components on his witch shots? You just buff those up. They're far more effective than his blade.
But I mean, you're also thinking. I mean, you're starting at like level.
You're
1 or
also
2.
doing this as
Even
a
at-
stat
at
thing
level
instead of a
3,
story.
he's
No,
pretty
but
insane with
we're
the
talking
remember,
about
dog-
we're talking about a game that goes up to level 12.
True,
you know
because
what I mean?
remember,
I
this
can't
isn't like
believe it taps out
it's
that
not the
early.
I was
character. Like,
surprised.
imagine
I'm
as his
so
life.
upset.
That's the thing he did.
I was
He was the
surprised,
Blade
too.
Let's-
beforehand. Now he has magic power.
Let's address, and I'm guessing that the game's going to go beyond level 12. That will
right
be it.
as of right now, it,
It does not.
As of right now,
For DLC.
Yeah,
DLC?
for DLC possibly.
Oh.
most likely DLCs
So-
will probably. And
Okay.
I have to say, the company has done Larian.
Well, here's
Done a
guess
great
it-
job
here's-
with
here's
keeping
the
up
thing,
with
though.
what people want.
It is fair that they only went up to level 12.
Yes,
because
for now.
After that, things get wild.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like once you get up past 12, things start to become a little overpowered.
getting
So it
high
makes
level magic.
sense. It does
Yeah.
make sense.
Okay,
But it does kind of suck.
This is
'cause
gonna
you
get
also want,
into-
like, the higher level stuff, you know?
this isn't a spoiler because this is what may be done in the future, because I've heard rumors. And a lot of people complain because of the vampire part with Asterion,
Mhm.
that I want to be a vampire.
Vampire, yeah.
Everybody wants to be a vampire. I have heard rumors that Larry's going to come after me, if it's true, that there is going to be one of the DLCs is going to be kind of like the Ravenloft series,
Oh my good
possibly.
Lord.
I think that would be insanely good choice. Going into the undead realm, because also too, being a necromancer, you got wizards. Necromancer should not be a subclass of wizard. It should not be.
Why do you say that?
Well,
I-
because-
I
okay.
disagree.
because those. Well, okay, let's
I'm
look at
listening,
this.
though. I'm listening.
Okay,
It's
because
based
those are
on
styles.
5e rules.
True, but you also have to look at these are styles, learnings of the different wizards. Evocation makes sense. All these, they're clairvoyance. These are kind of principles that you go into. Necromancy is its own deal.
It is its own
Being
deal.
a
but
necromancer
here's,
is
not-
its
here's the
own
deal.
deal.
As far as a
5e.
class.
No, I'm not saying 5e.
As
I'm saying
far
in
as
the
But,
fantasy
like,
realm.
But
But as far
this
as-
is what
yeah, it's
mechanics
based on
are based
5e.
on.
Yes.
So
I mean,
of course
but
necromancy
I
is
think-
going to be.
I would put
They're already-
necromancy as a school of clerichood.
no, it's
That, and
because-
now hold it, because people cross-working, I've seen this, people doing wizards / clerics, they're trying to find out the best way to be a necromancer.
right,
Yeah.
right.
But I do think at some point they may have to address, because people want a pure
But
class
here's the
necromancer.
deal. Here's the deal. As far as 5e goes, the Wizards of Cost, I believe it is, like basically the red mages, they're the ones that do a lot of necromancy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they're wizards.
Yeah.
right. But again, they're wizards. You call them wizards. And here,
You just said
Okay.
said
But-
No,
schools
but
of
here-
magic as
right, no, but here, I'm
wizards,
gonna-
you know?
I'm gonna
That's
show
what
it.
I'm saying.
nobody is calling for an evocationist.
What do you mean? I'm
Okay,
confused.
because it's a school of principle. It's a learning that wizards use.
yeah,
Necromancy
and so
is
is
its own.
necromancy.
yeah.
Necromancy.
In
In
this
the-
system
in-
of
yeah,
magic.
Again,
I get what you're saying.
Again,
Yes. Okay.
Again,
he
though,
gets
it doesn't
because-
matter.
All right. Here's the difference.
You're
Learning-
talking about in the school of fantasy.
Yeah,
I
it
Right,
does not
yes.
apply
I understand
to
that.
Right.
We're not
this
we're not
world
talking
of
about
But-
the school of fantasy. Yeah.
But there's talks about them doing it because it makes sense, and it goes back to older fantasy genres.
I'm
and
just saying, if
systems.
we're basing it off of
Okay.
D&D as it currently is, that's how it works.
All right, all of you out there, if you're going to answer or reply, do you want a dedicated necromancer class? I'm pretty sure
I
we're going to
personally
get
do not.
you. I'm betting though
Dude,
we're getting
this is a
majority
really easy
yes.
Do not.
This is a really
That's
easy
just not
thing to
how it
find
works
out.
in the game. That's why.
Yeah.
No, look, I don't know why we're arguing about this. This is
But
really
we're going
easy
to
to find
win
out.
the game. We will.
Is there a mod for it yet? That'll
No.
tell you if demand exists.
No, there
You
isn't.
know,
There you go.
we'll do a search later. There will be. Hold on. There will.
If there's not a mod for it in the works, there's no demand for it.
There will be.
How this works right now.
I guarantee you, because I've been on.
What they need is a fucking arachnophobia mod that works, because the one that exists does not.
When I was playing and I saw all the big spiders, I was like, oh, poor Jasmine.
Yeah, I
was like, oh my god,
this guys. Like,
because the small ones aren't so bad, but then some of the other ones are huge. And then when you have to
all
talk
of
to
them are bad.
when you have to talk to some of them, they're like very creepy.
The big phase spider.
What do? Do you just close your eyes?
What do you do?
I hold my hand in front of the screen
And
when I'm playing by myself, and I just like look at my options.
Yeah.
But I'm mostly playing it multiplayer with my boyfriend, so I will just give him control of all the characters and watch him play against the spiders.
Yeah.
So I can't see what's happening, and
great.
he just beats the spider.
Okay, got it.
But when I'm playing by myself, I have to like cover the screen, and like also I just like the one area that has a lot of spiders, I just didn't do that.
Okay.
We have to do like that one anime where they change the spiders and cockroaches and bugs into cake.
Maybe there's a
giant
mod for
cake
that.
attaches you.
Or did you say
No,
there is a mod?
I downloaded an arachnophobia mod, and it just doesn't work.
What does
It
it
doesn't?
do?
Nothing.
But what is it supposed to do?
It's supposed to disappear the spider, I think.
Disappear.
Like-
It's supposed to disappear.
It's supposed to make them...
It's called Fireball.
Like, when I played Hogwarts Legacy, I downloaded an arachnophobia mod, and it turns all the spiders into just blank boxes, like cubes.
See?
Yeah.
So it's just this cube floating around. So I thought it would do something like that.
Yeah.
But
See, I like
it literally
Romantic
did
Killer
nothing.
when they change it into dessert. That's smart.
This is a little bit of a sidebar, so I won't get too far into it. But there's this game called Grounded, where it's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You're small and you're dealing with bugs, you know.
Yeah.
No.
But they have the best setting for arachnophobia, where it basically lets you scale back how much of like spider-like it looks, and it basically will go from like, I'm not gonna get into it because I know you get scared, but it goes from looking like a full thing to that it's like just balls.
It looks like a violent
I have to
Porygon.
ask.
It
I have
literally
to
looks
ask,
like just two
how
balls.
comedic
Looks like
are
a violent
cartoonish?
Porygon.
Yeah.
That is it.
How
Oh, man,
cartoonish
dude.
or simple does a spider caricature have to get to before you can like tolerate it?
It has to have zero resemblance.
So the gray box is
The
your
gray box
ultimate-
is my ideal.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Or-
I mean, I get it
I
because
get it.
you don't want it. You just don't want it.
You just
Yeah,
don't
well,
want
and especially because of there's still like the arachnophobia mods don't change the environment, so I still have to look at all the webbing
Yeah.
and shit,
And
and
it all
just
freaks you out.
that freaks me out. Like
Wow.
right now, with it being Halloween season, and I walk around neighborhoods and there's all these cobwebs and giant toy spiders everywhere, like I'm constantly in like fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Okay,
because
so-
they're everywhere.
So when we do our holiday special, and I did not think of this, so no spiders, no webs.
No
even.
webs.
Okay, so we got skeletons,
Skeletons, great.
monsters, witches,
Vampires,
Okay.
werewolves, everything else.
Note to my producer, no spiders, no webs even. Okay, got you good. All right, let's go on to pros and cons of the game. I want to start with, of course, the positive aspects of the game, which no matter what, I've always stated that this game is an excellent game. Have to give it double thumbs up, A+. But of course, there's detractions. But let's start off. What is your favorite thing, Brian, with Baldur's Gate 3?
I can't pick one class.
That's kind
I
of a
keep
pro-con,
switching.
but I get where that's a pro because it is. There's so many good classes.
Every time I'm like, yeah, this works. Get 2-3 levels in. The hell can I do that? I can do that. I can do what? Hold on, hold on, guys. I gotta respec real quick.
Have you tried playing a druid? That's the only one that I like. I might
8
change
different
just to try.
times.
Yes.
Because there's
Can you turn into mice?
No, we haven't done that yet.
Because I swear I keep
you find big
finding all the
turn into a cat.
burrows.
Turn into a cat.
Oh, you can turn into a cat. Okay.
yes.
And also the burrows work if you're a gnome.
And also,
Yeah,
you can,
because I made a gnome.
you can also
half-size-
shrink.
Ah.
You can also
half-size
shrink.
Because my whole party is normal sized people.
Yeah.
So they're constantly like, "Can you get over here?" And I'll get them over, and I'm like, "Yeah, give me a second." And I'll be like, able
By
to
the way,
crawl
this
and then
goes
use
into
a little
tips. You
hole.
can also use either the potion or the spell or you can
Oh yeah,
scroll
the
to
shrink. Yeah, you could do that. Too.
And that's mainly what that's for. But yeah, there's a couple of ways.
I know what my favorite thing about this game is. Failing a trap check and not immediately dying.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't
Opening the
think
box and then
Ever
having.
failed a trap.
So if you fail
I
a trap
have,
check,
yeah.
turn-based combat just turns on,
Oh.
and it goes, "Hey, you failed."
Yes,
and you're just like,
that's true.
"All right."
How do we get the hell out of here? Yeah.
What do you mean leave? I'm getting that loot.
Yeah. Get the loot. Okay. Yes, that I have enough movement. It's actually a signal.
It's do I have enough
the loot? Get out.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go here, loot the box, and get away from here?
It's basically like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah. The ball's running behind you. You're like,
yeah, but you can still get the
none of traps, dude.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew. What is your pro? What do you love about this game?
Probably just like the immense amount of choices, because I don't like save scum, so like whatever that's what they call it, But that's what I'll do is like whatever happens. I don't if I don't get the ideal outcome, I don't care. I just like roll with it because I want it to be as much like D&D as possible. So I'll just roll with it. I don't really care.
I like your attitude.
Yeah, I just like the immense amount of choices you can have because I've already played 2 different playthroughs, not fully, but like 2 different outcomes of like the beginning. And they're just so vastly different, and like for a game, like I don't think I've played a game since probably Mass Effect where you could have such different choices that actually impact later things.
To make you, like
real
role playing.
Yeah, because most games now it's like if you make a choice, it's kind of
doesn't matter.
It's kind of just like an aesthetic thing. It's not really like any impact.
It's like
the NPC will remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's not a lot of stuff like that anymore. So for something to be like that is so much fun. I mean, I don't want to say too many spoilers because there's some really, really good stuff in there, but like I've come across some crazy things that other people haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
so
there's some the eye thing. I mean, that's just if you go that and find out what that is. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the eye thing is just insane.
Yeah, the Dark Urge origin path is really cool. Like
true.
Just all the different options.
There is so many. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Hold on. Have any of you guys played any of the main characters?
So here's the deal. So I haven't played the main character or any of the main origin characters. But the reason I didn't specifically, and I told Celine this too because she was about to. I heard one of the main devs of the game say, "Look, you guys play the game however you want. It's for you."
Yeah.
But he said, "I personally recommend you play your own character and go through the campaign with all of the group and everything." And then go back and play the second time as one of the origin characters. Because he said it's kind of like you're playing and you're seeing how their minds work.
Addicted.
You're addicted. But you're seeing how their minds work and how their personalities are. And then when you play the second time, you can kind of get where they were coming at from their perspective. Like be in their shoes, basically. So I kind of like that idea.
Well said, sir.
Yeah.
Jasmine, what is your favorite pro/good thing makes you feel good?
I am really happy that they gave difficulty sliders as somebody who's generally not good at video games. Having the explore mode is very helpful. And also just like the frequency of loot is very appreciated because I feel like I always have something to get me out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
I'm not like constantly breaking weapons like some other games and like having to just like stop progression because I need to go find new weapons or whatnot. Like I always have stuff that I need.
Yeah.
I've never run out of healing potions.
Even if your like back is against the wall, you can like if you're smart enough, you can get out of.
Yeah.
That I like too.
Is it possible to run out of items in Baldur's Gate?
Absolutely.
That would be.
Only if you don't steal.
No, not pots. Items. Because like I have like 12 billion things in my inventory. Like
when you say items, what
I spec into barrelmancy as well.
Carrying fucking barrels with you?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Literally, I have a character who's been with Brian's we have a little group, and I've been carrying around a barrel of TNT for just the right episode.
We're gonna come up on it.
We know we'll run up against that enemy where you just say, "Here's a barrel of TNT."
You don't need one. You just put down like 5 or 10 of them. Just like
one is good. I've done it.
That's the other thing is like you can really be like tactical and smart.
Yes.
Like I got into a fight where there was like a spider, unfortunately, standing next to an explosive barrel, and I shot it, and it was standing next to a cliff, and it blew it off the cliff and killed it. Like when it hit the floor, it killed it, and I was like, oh, I didn't even expect it.
I literally had a scene where I pushed somebody off of a cliff.
Yeah.
Next to a barrel of TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Had an action left over, shot my arrow into the TNT and blew up and killed
I love that, yeah.
Right? I mean, that is thinking ahead at a level that is really so complete. And that's what I'm going to tell you my favorite is. The immersion. Ooh, is that my $5 word? Immersion. The immersion in this.
We've never heard immersion.
Immersion. Immersion. It's so deep between the art the music, character development, the class development, the changes, and the simple sheer amount of things that you can do. And I have to guess that this is only going to grow with the game.
Yeah.
That DLCs will add to this more. But I have to give Larian credit for the immensity that this game already is at just coming out. And I really have to give them kudos. And one of the things I want to partake on this part is then a more difficult subject. What don't you like about the game right now? The cons. Ooh,
that's not a difficult subject.
Yeah.
It is. Sometimes, though, you pick on something or pick it apart because you love it so much.
Yeah.
And that's where I think this is coming from. And I'm going to reverse our direction now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty easy, for me at least, to decide what my least favorite is because I play a lot of 5e Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with all of the spells that are named and that kind of stuff. But the thing is because of my familiarity, I just pick stuff because I'm like, I know what that is. I know how to use that.
Okay.
That's great. And then I try to use it in the middle of combat, and it's different than how it works in normal tabletop Dungeons and Dragons, and it totally just screws me over.
Those bastards.
And it's very frustrating to think I understand something.
Like
and
as
not.
an example, holding your action does not exist.
That kills.
Yeah, that kills me.
Oh, I go first, but everything is way over there, and I have no movement speed.
Sometimes I'm like, I really wish I could just hold my action.
You know, I would cry for you all, but I'm older, and I'm like crying from second edition coming forward.
Yeah.
Today. So, but yes, I get that in the game where there's certain mechanics that you expect. But again, we know a lot of the reasons why. It's the same reason why movies change some of their.
I actually don't know.
Ideas.
At least with holding your action, I actually don't know why
it
that's
would make
not
the game
there.
way too easy.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would.
No, it wouldn't because there's another game that came out before this one did called Solasta, and it also uses the 5e.
I played Solasta.
It is not easier just because you can hold your action.
I have worked in the game industry.
Because of the way they changed some of the spells and character abilities. Being able to hold your action.
I agree with both of you.
Would absolutely break the game.
But we have to say, we have to say that this is possibly something they might add back into the game without breaking it. So it's like you're both kind of right.
Yeah.
Right. I think this might have been something they ran into a game balancing issue.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if I will say anything, they have
now.
done a lot of balancing, maybe too much sometimes. That's all online games. If somebody gets too much of an advantage in something, then, you know, everybody cry. So, I mean, that's what's coming about. And I agree that I imagine, because you guys are bringing it up, I think I've seen it on the forums asking about that. So it may come back in, but again, they have to do it so that it balances with the
Personally,
game.
I don't care because it's a single player
So,
game.
okay, so but is this your con for the game, or you have something else that also is bothering?
No, I'd actually probably agree with Jasmine. That's mine too. Is like certain things not working the same. Like there's some things that I get why it can't work the same because it's like, you know, when you're in a real life role playing situation, it's a little different. So I get why some of that stuff can't work. But me personally, like I don't care if it would make it too easy for holding your action because it's a single player game. And I know you can play with your friends, but it's not an MMO. It's a 4-player game at most. Like I don't care if I can break the game. You know, It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anybody. So I think it's you're taking away fun for the sake of balance, but who are you balancing for? You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
That's a big question asked a lot of time, and to be fair, devs try to always answer that, but it's not always easy.
I could see maybe probably for like not wanting some of the encounters to be too easy, so that you can actually like have good pacing. And
sometimes they want you to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, I can understand, or at least have the fear. I can understand that, but I don't know. There's just some small things.
All right, Brian, what would be your major con of the game? Leave Gale alone.
Why is he there?
I like Gale. No. I almost never kick him out of my party.
No, I don't really have too many major gripes with this game. Honestly, the thing I feel the absolute worst about is the indecisiveness it causes me because I know there are so many options available to me. Because I'm like, oh, I could just go do this thing, and instead of progressing the story, I spend 45 minutes to an hour figuring out how to properly swindle the shopkeeper.
Yeah.
And then doing actual research. I guess this is just something wrong with me. I do this in all the games I play. Like, look.
I'm with you.
I spent 6.5 hours in one day learning fluid dynamics just to play Satisfactory just to play a section of Satisfactory
I get you.
for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So this, I end up going and learning all these abilities and how spells interact with each other. Is also how I learned this weird thing about shopkeepers, or if you give them enough stuff for them to be your friend, and you have the Feign Death spell, you can put them to sleep with Feign Death without causing them to be hostile, and then just take all their stuff.
Spoiler alert.
Like, it's it leads into me doing things like this, and then I get back and I'm like, where the hell was I going? I have a quest. That's right.
Yeah.
It's all of that.
I'm going to go into my pet peeve because I've seen this with developers who come into a lot of MMORPGs or multi-class games, multiplayer games. There are standards. This is not the first fantasy MMORPG online or multiplayer, whatever you want to call it, or even single player. And there are standards. In those standards, a lot of things, like simply the menu system. That menu system could be so much better, and I'm sure they will.
What's wrong with the menu system?
Yeah, what's wrong with the menus?
It does not interplay well. There are better menu systems out there in a lot of games.
Which menu? Like, are we talking about the interactions?
If you're like just even moving, okay, so you can tab up, which is that should be in your tips.
Oh, I use a controller, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway. Going from different degrees, and even selling or trading items is a little clumsy. There are better systems out there. There's better money counting systems out there. Like a money counting system is usually best if you could go, okay, if I'm selling, why can't I just double click and sell everything in a stack?
If you're in the trade, you hold square on a controller and it sells everything.
No, you can do exactly that.
Okay, I can't do that.
No, you can do exactly that. You just have to add things to your wares.
That's what the wares function is.
Okay, that I didn't have.
But also some of them.
I don't want to take away from your con, because if you don't like it, you just don't like it. I get it. But I personally
it could be better.
Have a problem
it could be
with
better.
The menu system at all.
It could be better. There's
but like what do you think could make it better?
Money counter.
What do you mean by money counter?
A money counter shows like if
there's a stack of gold in your
right. If you have a stack of gold, you click it, then you have a counter where you can actually click in exactly the monetary amount that you want.
You mean like split the gold?
Yeah, split the gold.
Yeah,
you could split it, but this would give you an exact count easily.
What do you mean an exact count? It already gives you an exact count.
Yeah, you can literally.
Okay. To clarify, you can have like a little calculator there. A number bar only gives you so much, takes up so much space. So you could actually just click in with your whatever you're using.
Are you saying? Okay, hold on. I think I see what you're saying. So you're saying like you could, for instance, like WoW does this. Like you could shift click a stack of gold, and then or any item, and then it brings up a little thing that says like 1, and then you could type in on your keyboard 20, and then it'll bring in 20.
Or
is that
even
what you're saying?
Or even some have little calculators right there that's just 1 through 9.
Okay, but is that what you're saying though? You're basically saying I could type in 20.
Item stacks do that. If you double click an item stack while you're in a Baldur's version,
but not in the cell,
because you're going just straight selling. So you're saying this, I want money for this,
right?
And
but you should be able to do that, especially if you're splitting their stack.
Yeah, if you do go into the barter version of the.
I've done the barter version. It doesn't do that.
Yeah,
you can totally do that. You double click on a thing. You
double click on a stack. I'm wrong. You kill me.
It brings up a slider. And
it's a slider, not an actual.
You can put a number in.
You can.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah.
I didn't know that just because I used the slider. So
I use both of them.
See, I don't like using the slider.
I don't really mind.
If I can type it in, I prefer it.
I get it. Yeah, no, I get it. I totally because I do it in WoW.
Well, if I'm totally wrong, then that takes my con out, and this is a perfect game.
Success.
I think too over balancing. I see somewhat, especially like in multiplayer, there isn't a need for certain roles because so much is overbalanced that you get fighters practically can heal themselves.
They can, not practically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I would like to see it where healers were a little bit more effective, maybe more need. Again,
Are you playing on tactician difficulty?
I carry Gale around because he's my buff puppy.
No, again, I think I figured out your issue. You just need to play on tactician difficulty.
I am probably going to do that next.
That'll address basically every issue you have with the game.
I personally think that it might be just more of an issue of like pacing necessarily for you because
you go through.
I'm playing a bard and I'm obviously like buffing and
what is your
healing.
Makeup?
Yeah, I'm playing a bard.
My party makeup right now is I'm a bard. One of us is a barbarian. one of us is a paladin, and then one of us is, I believe, a warlock. Yeah, I think Celine picked warlock because she did the swap. She started with sorcerer.
But that's one of my points is that on the multiplayer, there are styles of friends who have the patience to play together, take the rests.
Yeah.
But I've run into party groups of multiplayers where they're just murder fest.
Yeah.
We're going through killing science.
But that's
not a problem with the game.
That's not the game. Yeah, that's your group. Yeah.
That's the group, but you can't really play anything that needs a rest. So you have to pretty much go.
No, that's why I was asking. That's why I was saying the pacing thing because I'm playing a bard, and if I'm careful with my spell slots, I can get through I don't know. We don't long rest every 5 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know
also
exactly
what your issue with that.
Yeah, there are a lot of
was,
scrolls.
Will. Or I know exactly what. Not Will. I know exactly what your issue with that was. Besides Will, because Will is not. He's not my favorite character, but more useful than Gale. But the person you were talking about is severely autistic, and that's why that happened.
Oh, yes. Well, there's that too. We're not going to go there, but and I'm not going to call it. I'm saying that, some people are attention deficit disorder maybe, and they want to do just one thing. But it is it's easier to focus and have a fast group if you're a bunch of monks and warriors and barbarians.
Oh, just martial classes, just because you don't need spell slots.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how the main game works.
But that's a difference too. And that's
you still need barbarian rage rest. You still need your key points. You still need your.
But some of those can go on short rest.
Yeah, all those are short rests, except rage is long.
Rage is long rest.
Long rest.
Yeah.
And you have to wait. I mean, that's why the mage the wizard Gale actually has an advantage over some of the other characters because he can recover some of his spells. Will sucks only simply because as a warlock, you kind of almost have to set him up as a weird kind of wizard / range guy because he can't recover hardly any of his magic. Sorcerers too.
So
warlocks recover on short rest.
Yeah.
Not everything.
I believe most
There's
of it.
spell slots,
I think I can't remember
because warlocks already work differently as far as spell slots.
Well, I played it more because the only way I found them really handy was with the summoning the imps and stuff like that. I found that really
that quad is super useful.
Super useful.
Turns invisible, you can press buttons, push people.
I personally I don't have any issues with the spell slots. I think it more is probably just a group issue.
Usually, definitely.
Because you do have those groups that are just let's just go, and they want to kill everything. And because the group I'm in, we're not killing everything every chance we get.
Why not?
Well, I suppose what I put badly is I would like to see that in groups like that, that maybe wizards and other backup classes were so much more handy and necessary that you would bother to rest for them, even in a group that's just kill everything.
I don't know. I think
you would. I think they have a lot of useful stuff, and you would. It's just
it just depends on how many spell slots get used out. Because if your cleric doesn't need to rest, the party's not going to rest.
Oh no, but I played a cleric with our murder group, and again, we're taking that as the pool. Yeah, wow, a cleric can be just devastating.
Yeah,
dude.
As long as you get your rest. But as long as you get your rest.
But it's also
eventually
it's also a matter of don't blow all your spell slots.
Well, but the problem with a group like that is I'm like, guys, can I rest? Can I rest, please?
That's what I'm saying. Is if you're
I was eventually just ending up just a regular an underscored fighter. That's what I eventually ended up. And they're not bad. I mean, you could survive it. That's a good thing about a cleric. You can survive as just a kind of regular fighter.
Yeah.
Especially because you can armor and shield up. But okay. All that back around, let's move on to tips. And we're not going to try to spoil past Act 1 here. This is just general startup tips for players who want to get, what can I do to start a little better?
We're well past that. This game's been out for
just
long enough
Brian,
for us to go
there's always going to be people
to what I have to say.
But go ahead.
This game's been out just long enough for us to go past general startup tips and more of a where's your party going type of thing.
Also, let's keep in mind that this has been in early access for probably at least the last year and a half. So
we're aware of that.
Act 1 is probably
honestly, if we get enough response on this, again, the game's good. We're probably going to do another.
We have to wait for all of us to actually finish Act 2.
That too.
I have not gotten very far into it.
So again, it's a good game. So not for everybody. So tips. Starting up, because again, even I tell you what, 5 years from now there'll be new players playing this.
Well, of course. That's why I
so
want to
and hopefully 5 years from now, people will be digging up Church of Nerd.
That's what
excerpts.
I'm saying. I don't want to give them the general startup tips they've heard on every other YouTube channel.
So give us your wild, balls-ass, crazy-ass freaking startup tip.
Some things people just don't tell you is experiment with the classes.
Okay.
Like, you might find the class you like immediately, but there are also just strange things that Baldur's Gate did with the rules that change how some of the classes work. Like Monk. Monk is just all around better in Baldur's Gate 3 than it is in 5e. Just especially getting your key points back on a short rest instead of a long rest.
Okay.
Like, there's things like that. It's just the rule system has changed ever so slightly, which changes how a lot of the characters play, how a lot of the classes play, and just things you wouldn't normally expect.
Okay. Andrew, what tips would you have?
My tip's not going to work for everybody because some people are
Doesn't have to.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, some people are real min-maxers and they really want to, like, play the game in, like, a meta way. But for me, I just don't make your character based on a meta build which is totally like opposite to him, Like,
no, my build was not meta on purpose.
Because I have a buddy who already beat the game, and I told him my build, and he was like, "Oh, that one's actually not the best one." And I told him he didn't say it in a rude way. He was just letting me know, like, "Oh,
you could do better."
Like he was saying, like, "Oh, once you get it to level 12, it's just like they don't give you as much stuff or whatever." And I basically told him, like, I know, but I don't really care because I'm just playing.
I get you.
I made my character for flavor only,
and I'm enjoying it.
And I basically just deal with shit as it comes. So that would be my advice.
I like that.
I feel like it's a lot more fun if you're just like, I just play however I want to play, and whatever obstacles come my way, it almost makes it more fun because I have to figure out how to get out of the obstacle with what I have only.
So,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Would you say play a full playthrough before you start save scumming?
That would be my advice because
I like
a lot
play
more,
scumming, though.
yeah, exactly. Like, it's not going to work for everybody, but for me,
Good
for
point.
me, like, I think it's way more fun to see like all the crazy things that can happen because it's like D&D, it's like tabletop D&D where failure sometimes has these crazy, interesting results.
Very good point.
It's like Detroit Become Human has that exact same premise. They're like, we know some weird things are going to happen. Please play through the full game. Like, it stops you and asks you this. Like, just please play through the full game before you go back and make any changes to your save file because some weird stuff is going to happen. And I respect it because some weird stuff happens.
Shit gets real. Yeah. Okay, so Jasmine, what is your tip? It could be anything. Wild as shit.
No matter what class you're playing, charisma is not a dump stat.
There is wisdom in that.
Like, if you're building your character, like, just give yourself some charisma. You will be so much happier.
Definitely don't have negative.
Do not have negative charisma.
Oh my good lord, that is such
give
a
yourself
rough stat.
at least a +1. Like,
not a dump stat.
Oh
my god.
Sorry.
That is such a good that is such a good tip that I would say that almost every class I cheat the levels so that yes, I at least get a +1. Every class I cheat it to get a +1 in charisma because it is very important in the game. Because a lot of this game you can talk your way through things and then kill everything later.
Yeah, really quick. This is another really, really quick tip that I just thought of. Inspiration counts for your entire party. So just everybody keep that in mind because it does.
Hold on. Let me clarify.
I'm saying it's banked as everybody's inspiration. So like if I use inspiration,
you
it's
get
not
the experience.
Just mine. Not even
well,
the experience.
Again, you get the point for inspiration, and the experience goes to the party too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
I believe that's true.
Like, if it says you have 3 inspiration, that's the entire party's pool. It's not your inspiration.
Right, and there's points where multiple characters get inspired. Yeah, and you get those points, and you get the experience.
Also, inspiration maxes out at 4. So if you have 4, spend at least 1.
Them. Yeah, use them.
Very good point.
Use them or lose them.
That's actually useful.
Yeah, because you can get inspiration and have full inspiration, so you don't end up with it.
Yeah. Right, that's very good.
You still get the XP though.
You get the XP, but you don't get that inspiration. So you should use them.
Huge tip.
And then like the other one would be, I think you need a rogue in every party.
Yes.
So if you're not playing a rogue, have a Astarion.
May I ask why?
Locks.
I am a bard. I am a bard.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
I am going to.
You need someone with
and
dex.
I think some of our pro players.
Assassin is so good.
I'm sure it is.
Assassin is so good.
Or someone with knock.
Let me pro tip this.
Yeah.
Dexterity character, i.e., also a charisma character, but a dexterity character. And this is why I'm saying a little overbalanced. You give them those gloves you get, the certain gloves you get early.
Yeah.
And
I have those gloves.
Yeah, and if you have a decent level of sleight of hand, stealth, a dexterity character is almost as good as a thief.
That's what I'm saying. Is like I'm playing a bard. I have everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
I am the person in the group.
I can do it with my barbarian because like.
But why also a dex
dex
class is so important is not just all those, but also giving you that one person who almost always gets initiative.
Me.
Yeah.
That's true.
Every
too.
time. I don't. Also, that helmet helps.
Yes,
The helmet helps a lot.
a certain momentum.
I don't understand how momentum works.
I will give you a
yeah.
class of how does momentum work. It was broken early on. They fixed it. Basically, momentum adds to only in combat, adds to how many paces the player can actually move.
Every
It
stack of
basically
momentum
adds
gives you 5
to your
feet.
movement speed.
Yeah,
Every stack of momentum gives you 5 feet of movement.
and certain spells and or equipment add X amount of turns in which you get momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually it only starts at the beginning of the battle.
Well, y'all know what I just remembered is one of my favorite things. If you're in stealth and you hit an unaware enemy and you just one-shot them, you don't always go straight into combat.
Yeah,
No,
you can actually do.
You can just walk
yeah.
around and assassinate everybody.
Yeah,
I found that
that's
out with
actually a lot of
barbarian
fun.
because like I just for shits and giggles,
Right.
I hooked that javelin at the back of the dude's head and he died, and I was like,
Nice.
well, let me see if this works again.
Yeah,
right?
And it does.
And I'm going to add my tip, and this is for the Tiefs. You Tiefs out there, there is a aspect of stealing. It is not easy. Some of you are going to have to do the not deal with your, unless you like doing the getting arrested scene.
Bring it to jail.
You might have to do a little bit of
Kill
saving.
everybody.
Number one tip: turn out all the freaking lights.
Yeah, light
If there's-
matters.
if
Light
there's
does matter.
torches,
Yeah.
if there's lanterns, anything around, nobody minds you turning them out.
Cast darkness.
Yeah, or that's another
Darkness,
thing.
fog will do it.
Yeah. These are
this
different
one's-
ways.
If you are a bard, you can use minor illusion.
I will also say
Minor
that if
illusion.
you're in the beginning area, if you're in the druid area, there is a certain person who is easier to steal from than anybody else.
Oh, just as well, if you have a bard on your team, their performance, the ones that on the description say they attract attention, will just make everyone look at your bard.
It's so much fun. It is so sick, dude. It is so much fun.
Just pickpocket everyone looking at your
found
bard.
I did it just to be funny, and I realized everybody comes and hangs out with you, and I was like,
they
this is
walk-
the best.
They
Like,
come
I
from
love
all
this
over the
so
level.
much.
That-
Come over to hang out with you.
That comes into tangent with another tip
Pickpocketing.
with pickpocketing,
Everyone.
with stealing. If you're doing things that are questionable, or if you want to distract people, there are certain people that should be in certain, like a bard, you should keep them in a certain area. It's also usually best to move your party away from the scene of the crime.
Well, yeah. If you're playing single player, obviously, yeah, you want to go by
Single player
yourself.
especially,
Yeah.
yes.
If you're in a group, your group kind of knows not to.
They're in on it,
fuck
man.
up for you.
But if you see the scene, they'll come up to you and go, there's somebody stealing around here, and I don't know.
Whatever you got, send it to camp.
I don't
real
know.
quick.
I don't know. If
That
you guys,
guy in our party steals everything, but we don't know shit.
I don't know if you guys have ever played Divinity 2, but
Yes.
they really fixed.
Not out to divinity.
They really fixed theft because you used to be able to just have one person
I did
talk.
that, everybody.
You used to be able to have one person talk to them and then have their attention, and then the other person could just steal their entire inventory.
Whoa.
And it was
Yeah.
broken.
It was
broken.
so bad.
That honestly happens, and that's why I think.
Oh, it was so much
Yeah,
worse.
It
it was
decent-
way worse.
So much
I mean, I go
worse.
back to Ultima,
because
where people
there
could steal your house.
there was
There
no
was no check for it, dude.
There
There
was
was no
no
check for it.
percentage. There
Yeah.
was no
You just
percentage
took it.
check. Yeah, you just took it. So it was like
You just dumped the inventory.
But I have
off
to
the
say that's a
whole
little
game
bit of a
stealing.
complaint for me in this game is that the thief, while a great character and can be extremely deadly, some of their role has been robbed a little bit.
Are you
In what
playing a
sense?
thief or an assassin?
The fact that, like I said, you don't actually, like I said, we were talking about earlier, if you have a high dex character, give them a tool set, give them a little bit of sleight of hand, and they're a makeshift thief.
makeshift is, I think, the key word there, though.
Right, but
some
in
of
a
those PCs
but in
are
a
like
save
25,
game,
dude.
yeah, but in a save game system, you can.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's on you.
I'm just saying
Because
that.
that means you could do that with anybody.
I'm just saying that I think there is a level that maybe they could buff up or add to a little bit of what the thief does, specifically in stealing.
I think that might come more from not getting that far in the game yet. Because there
And some of that
there
may
is
be
stuff
changed.
That is
Yeah, like
additional
I've
buffs.
had to pick a level 30, or I mean a DC 30 door.
Yeah.
And I don't think.
Yeah, most
Your regular-
I couldn't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Things like that are why I like the knock spell.
That too.
And there's that. See, that's the. But again, that's an age old. That even goes back to early like D&D of the Nox spell. So yeah, you got to give the mages. Oh, that gives me what we could really add to the game. And I don't know if they do it yet because I have not reached a high enough mage level. But I think almost all the casting classes should have like a location return teleport. I don't know if anybody knows if that exists, but I think that would be really handy.
There's fast travel sigils all over the map.
Yeah. There are.
That's why nobody gets that.
But how handy would it be?
Also, that's a little bit more prevalent in later levels, like past level 12.
That's what I was wondering, because again, I don't want to get into spoilers, and I haven't gone that far.
Dimension Door is not that far.
Not in the
is it?
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can get scrolls pretty early.
Yeah.
But is there a return teleport?
No.
Return to what?
What do you mean?
Return teleports are often that you could set a set point somewhere. So say I always
want to return. That's kind of like
that's
more like Morrowind. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Also,
it's handy.
It is handy.
It is handy.
The fact that you can just leave to camp from wherever and then you pop back out
that is
where
handy
you were.
too. Again,
like it's not like you have to get back to your camp.
Right.
I
actually
kind of wish you did do that, but
right?
I don't really care that
Bro,
much.
can you imagine being in a dungeon and being like, shit, I need a short rest?
I kind of like that, but I kind of would prefer to go to the actual.
Yeah,
camp,
like there's no use for Liamon's tiny hut.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. So what are your closing?
Your clothing?
My clothing
arguments.
I
have clothing arguments.
My clothing arguments are that there's a lot of clothes in this game. They're completely optional. All of your characters don't need them for a good time. I mean, it's what
you can walk around nude.
This is what happens when you put a bunch of hot people in a life or death situation.
But I agree. Hold on. Before we go, there is a clothing problem. I would like to see more clothing available in the initial area.
There is a lot of clothing.
There's a lot of clothing.
You just look like a peasant because you're in the starting area.
Personally, to expand on what you're talking about,
in the armor slot,
I would prefer to see like a transmog system where you can wear what you want to wear, but get the stats of the item.
Yes, and I do think that'll come. I think that'll come.
But
you know you can hide your armor and just wear your clothes.
No, but I'm talking about like wearing like
you can dye them, but you
can wear whatever armor I want style wise, but then get the stats of the actual armor that I want.
It's the Diablo transmog system. I love that.
Yeah. Because I'm not worried about clothing.
Standards.
The clothing is cool though.
Yeah. No, and it's a beautiful game, and we're gonna wrap up here, and I do think we're going to have to come back for Act 2 and Act 3 and continue up on this game. It is definitely an A+ game. We love it. Who wouldn't love it? We'd like to know your thoughts. What do you want to see in the game? What do you want us to talk about? Let us know and join us next time on Church of Nerd.